Hello! Welcome to Fort Fritz, your one stop for news, current events, and all forms of entertainment relating to the paranormal, the supernatural, the Fortean, and things that go bump in the night, all packaged and presented in the form of know-nothing know-it-alls, entertaining the unknown. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Kaz.
Hey.
Angela.
Hello.
And our very special guest tonight is Daniel. How are you, Dan?
Hi. I'm good.
Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Look at him.
Hello, Dan.
Dan's, Dan's been helping us out behind the scenes for a long time now.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. More on that later. But I have something very, very shocking to share with you.
What?
This might rattle your very core. Some people don't believe in ghosts.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Fools.
well.
Out of 100 people, what do you think the percentage of people who actually believe in ghosts would be, or spirits? Dan, go ahead.
35%.
35%. That's pretty confident.
I'm going to say 45%.
45%, pretty confident.
76.
76 is damn near 100%.
Not into math, I see. I'm going to go 67.
67. Kaz is pretty much on the money. It's 75%. 3 out of 4
Boom.
people.
Shakalaka right there.
3 out of 4 people believe in spirits.
All right.
This really fascinating 2014 BBC article came out called Psychology, The Truth About the Paranormal. They bring up a lot of really good examples of damage to the right hemisphere that might be responsible for visual processing. They also go into, well, the dang old world is just too spooky. So we kind of think of something that can take its place, kind of to trick our mind, our highly evolved human mind, of course, into believing that there might be something out there after death. We don't know.
It's more of a hope in a lot of ways, you know. I mean, this can't be it.
Depends.
The author of Psychology, The Truth About the Paranormal, is David Robson. I contacted him. I said, David, call the show. Let's talk about this a little bit more in detail. But I don't care about science. I care about entertainment. Because you know what? Every time I see Patrick Wilson, I think, he looks just like Will Arnett.
Does he know?
He kind of does. I can see that.
And if you don't know who Patrick Wilson is,
I was going to ask.
he was in all of the Conjuring movies. He portrayed Ed Warren. He reprised the role of Ed Warren in Conjuring 3.
And he played Raoul in Phantom of the Opera, the movie.
And also Angels in America. He was
Yes. And he was in an episode of Girls.
in. Really?
Wow. Are you
Was
a
he super
fan
handsome?
or what?
Is this...
Down with
I
the
think
man.
he's very talented.
Evidently.
I think he's very, he's super, super, super talented. So anyway.
I get my Conjuring movies mixed up.
Which
Yeah.
might be
The
not
Conjuring and the Sinister and the Annabelle and they got all kind of mixed up.
And Insidious is really good.
Insidious
They are.
is
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah,
The
it's
other ones
good.
were
Patrick Wilson, while filming the original Conjuring movie, he was asked by the Independent, which is a UK paper, if he had any kind of unexplainable paranormal experiences. Because, again, he portrays Ed Warren, husband to the recently deceased Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Just like 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
recent.
I believe she was in her 90s. So he said, actually, you know what? Yeah. While recording the original Conjuring movie, the actress who portrayed the young girl who like visually starts presenting with bruises said that she actually started to present with bruises on set. She would have bruises that would just show up.
Really?
Whoa.
And he said, I didn't want to talk about that during the pressers and interviews because it wasn't my story to tell. But every time I would talk to her or her parents, they would give me that wide-eyed, I don't know. I have no idea. So thinking about whether or not ghosts can come from a place that is originated from the brain or not, whether or not we believe or if we have damage to the right or left
So we're kind
hemispheres.
of creating them, what you're saying?
Well, I have something that you definitely cannot explain away.
Okay.
This is video from a metro station after hours, and this is in Zaragoza metro station in the city of Monterrey in the northeastern Mexican state of Nuevo León. This was filmed by a witness who was, well, also trying to help. The video starts off with the witness saying, I can hear a small boy calling out for his child. The metro is closed. So this metro worker decided to go search for the child with me. And this is the audio. If you would also like to help search for this ghost child, just go to realradio.fm, click shows, blogs, and podcasts, click Fort Fritz, and here we go. The person who is filming is walking with the worker up the escalator now. You hear Papa.
Ooh.
To me, this is the craziest thing. When they're right in the middle of the stairs, you hear it almost right behind you. Right here. That's the loudest one that you
Very
hear.
loud.
And then they get to the top of the stairs. The metro worker calls out for the kid. The metro had already been closed. Dandes? It's the exact same sound. When on that second floor.
It's chilling.
It's really, really scary.
What?
This came out just... And the same sound as they're walking all around this metro station.
So it's not just a kid looking for his papa somewhere? This is a spirit?
This was a closed metro. Metro had been closed for a long time, and no kid was heard of or
Ever found?
seen from.
I think maybe there's just a missing kid that no one knows about.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big skeptic, so I'm with you. I'm pretty sure that's probably just a lost kid.
He's not dead yet.
That's interesting. Dan and Mandaddy, Kaz, Angela, thoughts on this? And I'm going to play it one more time.
It's kind of creeping me out.
Like a ringtone from hell.
It did seem like the quality of the sound didn't change based on where he was. They went from like the bottom of the stairs to the middle, the top, and around the corner, and it sounded like almost like it was coming from a PA or something. I don't know, like to be that like projected
Loud.
in the same way.
That is
very
weird.
loud.
But you look at the surfaces, you look at the actual room that they're in. It's all tile and big bouncy walls.
You can hear the reverb.
Super echoey, yeah. So, yeah, you're true. You don't hear it localized anywhere, but at the same time, would you?
Yeah, probably not. People took to social media to say, that station always, quote, gave me the willies. The hallways are too long and empty. Another person added, how scary. My God, have mercy on his soul.
Ooh.
And then someone else said, it is just his son waiting for him upstairs. So I don't know if that means like he's dead or
It's just
physically.
like, Dad, stop walking around the empty metro. Come back, take me home.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done
I'm
with
hungry.
Metro.
I won't
Exactly.
say it's not creepy. It's definitely a creepy video.
Very haunting sound.
It is
Yeah.
super haunting.
let's-
Gave me the chills. I will say that, or the willies per se. as
Per
someone-
se.
Yes.
Let's listen to it one more time, shall we?
Just to give everyone the willies.
If we
Yep.
Just in case you're
just run out.
you're willy free.
Take
I
that
always
ride.
need more willies.
Have some willies out there.
Here it is. It sounds far away there, right? As the video starts.
Uh-huh.
And again, go to realradio.fm, click blogs and shows Fort Fritz, and see this really chilling video. It sounds loud right there. And they're traversing stairs. So it would at least, the Doppler effect would, right? As loud as right there when they're
Yeah.
halfway through the stairs.
Yeah.
The way the guy is just nonchalantly walking while this ghost is shrieking out around him is pretty freaky to me.
Well, what would you do, Mandaddy?
I'd be looking around and having some sort of reaction. This guy's like,
He's filming forward, but we don't know what his head is doing. He could be like
no, the guy that was in front of him that we just saw.
Well, that's a hardened metro
Yeah,
worker.
that's a metro
Yeah,
station.
he hears this all day.
It's a metro security worker
Yeah.
in a city in Mexico. Like,
Yep.
that's
You've
not
seen it all
Mexico
day.
City. It's crazy there, I'm sure.
I'd leave you with one more bit of ghostly news.
Ooh.
So again, realradio.fm, just click shows and blogs and click that one. That's it's a spooky Casper ghost who calls for dad in tube station.
You
That's
ever,
what independent.com, yeah.
you ever notice that Casper the Ghost and Richie Rich have the same body
Yeah,
shape?
why
and
is that?
everything? So Casper is dead Richie.
Correct.
Why is that?
Just because when you die, you turn into a bald ghost.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you're friendly.
You didn't see the Richie Rich movie? It established the Richie Rich cinematic universe.
That is true.
A rich tapestry.
Archie
Yeah.
a part of that, I guess?
Yeah,
Like,
course.
Samuel L. Jackson shows up at the end of Richie Rich and says, I'd like to talk to you about the Jughead Gang initiative.
So who here has seen the pretty much recently released, I think Netflix, if I'm wrong, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, about Ted Bundy?
Netflix.
Oh, I've seen
You
it.
have seen it? Lily Collins plays Ted Bundy's girlfriend. She recently gave an interview with TheGuardian.com. She thinks she was visited by ghosts of Ted Bundy's victims
Ooh.
while she was preparing for this role.
Oh, man. Like how?
She said she kept waking up at 3:05 a.m. every night.
Yikes.
The witching hour.
Yep.
She
Creepy.
would. This was over the Christmas
In what time
holidays.
zone?
I don't know, but this was the Christmas holidays. By the way, Lily Collins. Who do you think she's related to?
Phil.
Yes,
Phil
Boom.
Collins' people.
Phil Collins. Lily Collins is, I guess, his daughter.
Yep.
Who cares?
You never know. He divorced his wife by fax, so.
So let's go
Are
back
you
to this.
serious?
Yeah, he did. While preparing for this role, Lily Collins over the Christmas holidays said that she would wake up every night at 3:05 a.m. Quote, I would go downstairs and have a cup of tea trying to figure out why I had woken up again. Then she says I started being woken up by flashes of images like the aftermath of a struggle.
Huh.
She then went on the internet to, do some sleuthing and discovered that 3 a.m. is the time when the veil between the realms, what, Mandaddy?
It's the witching hour.
It's the thinnest. It's the witching hour.
It's when they
it can
come
be
through, the
visited.
demons come on through.
She swears to God she was visited by the victims of Ted Bundy.
Damn.
How did they know? Did they have email or something? They have an email chain to let everybody know when the movie's coming up or something? I don't know.
Do you think that's something that can happen?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, these are souls that are angry souls, you'd think, and you get exited from this realm in such a violent and vile way. You're just, I guess you'd be worried about it being glorified.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we really do kind of glorify serial killers at this time. And, and I'm just as guilty. I love the movies. I love the books. I've read so many books and, written songs about them and whatnot. It is just sort of a bizarre fascination we have with serial killers in this society. Mm-hmm. And so I could see as a ghost being like, well, we gotta get our words in here. We gotta let someone know our side of the story.
I definitely think if you're tapping into those energies, they kind of like to tap back a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice. That's scary. I don't
Tapping
like that.
energy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Just
no, I don't like
don't
that.
tap me, I'll tap you back.
Ugh, that's scary.
Tap me and I'll tap you back.
Kaz, do you think people can be haunted or visited by the ghosts of people for a biopic?
So to play devil's advocate, I think that like being involved in a production where you're dealing with these images and these ideas of these people, it could just start to seep into the schema of your dreams and give you kind of a background of like you might be seeing these things when you're kind of in that
suggestible
half-conscious.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the power of suggestion.
But I think more interesting to me is, and I tried to bring it up, what time zone is the witching hour in? Because 3 a.m. in the Pacific time is not.
It's to yourself, where you're experiencing.
Where you are, so it
rolling
rolls. The
witching
witching hour just rolls across.
So if you drove the right way, you could just be
You'd
in
just be
total
hitting the
witching
witching
hour
hour.
like, constantly. There
Or
we
if you're
go.
flying,
We're just
you're
gonna
just like
stay.
constantly flying in the
Kaz
witching
was
hour.
so excited by
Just
that.
blew
He's
the
like,
mic open, man.
oh my God, we're gonna make billions
want
of dollars
Just
now.
slowly driving with the witching hour, just time it out just
Coming
right.
up, we have a whole bunch of hootenannies and Easter eggs for you. By the way, we have entertainment news with Kaz, Mandaddy, and Angela. Kaz is going to be talking about Sunken City, and that's a video game.
Correct.
And Mandaddy is going to be talking about Dead to Me. Is that a movie?
It's a series on Netflix.
Angela has got some Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy
What do I
fun.
wanna say?
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. It's Ted Bundy time.
Now it
It's
is,
Ted
yeah.
Bundy time.
Now it's Ted Bundy.
Happy hour.
Going to break, we're going to be listening to Phil Collins. You're listening to Fort Fritz
That crossover.
right here on Real Radio 104.
Don't you know you're gonna shock the monkey? Fox the fox, right on the right. You can make
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Jakey Lee, what up?
Hey.
I saw this tour at the Orange County Civic Center.
Sounds really good on these headphones.
It does. You guys want to sit around and listen to Black Sabbath instead of...
You guys want to sit around and listen to Ozzy on Fort Fritz? Hello, I'm your
Yeah.
host.
Is it Ozzy or Sabbath?
That's
Fritz.
Ozzy.
Yeah,
That's just straight
Ozzy
Ozzy.
Osbourne.
Right.
I'm your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Sup?
Angela.
Hello.
Kaz.
Howdy.
And our very special guest, Dan. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, very good. Thank you so much for deciding to spend your night with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Getting
It's such a
spooky
great
with us.
time when we have Dan over.
Right?
I
It's
love
always a
Dan.
good time.
It's a damn
Dan's a
I
night.
good
love
man.
Dan too. Dan loves you
Oh,
guys.
everyone loves Dan.
Third person.
It's just warmth.
Where have I heard Dan's voice before? Well,
From his throat.
look no further than the Chester Charleston commercials. You've heard them tonight because we've been playing them. And also, he's just a damn fine fella.
Just a general
Gad
man
about
about
town.
town.
There you
Man
go.
about town.
Damn fine Dan.
Dan is also on a lot of our previous episodes on Fort Fritz. Just download the iHeartRadio app. It's absolutely free. Open up that smartphone now, search in your app store, iHeartRadio, and then search Fort Fritz, FORTFRITZ. Just like that, right, Mandaddy?
That's exactly how it goes.
Mhm.
And you can also follow us on all the social media platforms. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter. We're Fort Fritz MCT, at Fort Fritz, just on Facebook. And just check out. We'll let you know what we're doing. You can let us know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that'd be
we
great.
post cat videos.
Oh, I love them.
It's been a while, actually.
Yeah,
It's
actually.
been a long time.
Can we get one more cat video up before?
I'm going to do that right now.
Are there actually cat videos on the internet?
Yeah,
You got to really search to find a cat
Yeah.
video. They're out there.
You gotta get in the
Just-
dark web to
Just
find a cat.
go to my page.
All the cat videos are there. So, what do you have to discuss with us this week, Angela?
Well, speaking of Lily Collins,
Lily Collins.
she was in the movie Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
Why is it named that?
That is actually what the judge said at the end of Ted Bundy's sentence in his trial. Who was played by John Malkovich in this movie, who was
Oh,
phenomenal.
really? I didn't know Malkovich was in it.
He was
Malkovich,
great. He
Malkovich.
sounded just like that judge. He did a phenomenal job.
Wow.
He really did.
He
It's
did.
Malkovich. It's
Malkovich.
Malkovich.
Malky steps up.
Yeah. I have to say the even though that is a really powerful statement to make, I think that is a terrible name for a movie.
Horrible name for a movie.
Because we've been trying to remember what it's called. No one can remember the order.
And I've seen it, and I don't remember.
Shocking, wicked, viling.
2 out of the 5 of you have seen it and still don't know what it's called.
Right. I know. I've tried to remember. I'm like, extremely something.
So, Kaz?
Extremely
Extremely
and
vile.
vile. Yeah.
No, you're wrong. What is it called, Kaz?
Extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
Oh, my
Ooh,
God.
Well done.
All right, one more time. Thank you.
Point.
By the way,
Fritz.
they don't use the Oxford comma in the title, just so you know.
That's true.
Nicely
That's
done.
true.
Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It is on Netflix, and I think they did a great job with the movie.
I've heard great reviews.
It's great, and Zac Efron was fantastic
He
in it.
really was. He sounded just like him, too. I have a trailer in case you would like me to play a little bit of it.
I would love you to do
Because
that.
he,
Yes.
he sounds so... That's why I was like...
He got his cadence, everything. It's perfect.
It was really weird.
That guy's been staring at
Seattle.
you all
1969.
Yeah.
What is it about this guy? When I feel his love, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, well,
He looks like Zac Efron.
bad
so.
guy.
You don't know.
Right there.
I think I must be lost. That will shock you beyond your worst nightmare.
He sounds just like him.
Inspired.
I am innocent. You don't actually believe this garbage, do you?
It's in all the papers, Ted.
Isn't that weird?
Monkey! Oh!
It's weird.
How did his name get on that suspect list?
Ooh.
The story
Crowbar.
behind... This trailer is so good.
I want to come see you.
But the title is so horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's
Great
bad.
movie, bad branding.
It's a
Bad branding.
clunky title.
So, yeah, like, really good. I mean, what do you think? Does he sound like him or not?
A lot.
He sounds like him.
He looks like him.
He looks like him. He
Yeah.
acts like him. Because I did watch the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix, and that
They're
was
captivating.
like a 8 to 10 episode. I can't remember the length of
A
it,
lot.
but lots of footage, especially of the trial. That guy was crazy.
Yeah, he was.
He was all over the place.
He was a psychopath.
Absolutely. I mean, he killed.
like to a T. He was like the exact perfect example of what a psychopath is.
Yep.
Able to live in that world and interact in our world. You know, living in a completely different world, but able to interact in our world fine.
Well,
Yep.
that's the thing is that so this movie is actually based on the book written by his longtime girlfriend.
Oh, so she wrote this. Oh, okay,
Yes,
neat.
her name is Elizabeth Kendall. She goes by Liz. Her book's called The Phantom Prince: My Life with Ted Bundy. And that's what this whole movie is based on. Because it really does, it focuses on Ted Bundy a lot, but it really focuses on her. And her whole reaction, because she was actually the one who called the Seattle police to give the name
Oh.
That's right.
And it shows really her reaction because they had a whole life together. She had a daughter, not through him. They were together for years, and they had a whole. She loved him. They had a whole relationship. They were connected. She really fell in love with this person, and then found out he did all these horrible things. 30 known. They don't even know if there's more, but 30 known people that he murdered.
And that's such a huge amount of people because there's so many famous serial killers that are in the teens.
I don't even know that I know 30 people.
And it's all over different states too: California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Utah, and Washington State.
Oh, that's what makes it so difficult. Serial killers is they love to travel. You can't really stay in one place for too long.
Also,
Wanderlust.
There are so many different serial killers too that have like known deaths 6, like under 10, but possibly hundreds.
Yeah, they'll love to admit to more. Once they're caught, they will admit to anything because it gets them to go on field trips.
And he has 30 over a span of years.
And he actually, because he's been in different states and he was super charismatic and he could totally just be this chameleon that would morph into different people. Other names you would know him by would be Chris Hagen, Kenneth Meisner, Officer Roseland, Richard Burton, Rolf Miller. Like,
good fake names.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially the Rolf.
Rolf
Miller.
It's
like, there's no way you made that up.
Solid.
That is solid.
Did you know his body was cremated in Gainesville?
Yeah, and spread across.
And spread across the Cascade Range in Washington.
Where he also murdered people.
Yeah.
And bodies have been probably decomposing since then.
What a nice tribute.
And he's still haunting those poor people with his, like, ashes.
It's fascinating.
You just get a little tickle in your throat, you're in the Cascades, like,
it really
damn
is.
you, Ted Bundy.
It really is crazy.
And he did get caught in Florida, and Florida loved that. They were like, yeah, we got him. We got this guy. And it was this whole big dramatic trial. He had fired his lawyer. He did his own thing. I have to say, though, while I was watching the movie, and I thought Zac Efron did a great job, I was like, that is a very, very dramatic bow tie that they have on Zac Efron. And
what do you mean?
It was
that sounds like a ska band. Dramatic bow tie.
So,
pick it up.
out of all the footage I've watched of Ted Bundy, I'm watching it and I'm like, that bow tie. I don't remember Ted Bundy actually having such a prominent bow tie like that.
So can I maybe look up like side by side images?
I did. So now I have in my search history Ted Bundy bow tie.
Nice.
Even better, ska band.
Even better. It really is. I sit corrected.
Definitely delivered, and something just popped up with Killer Ted with a killer bow tie.
Oh my god!
It's definitely dramatic. I will say that, and we can put this up on RealRadio.fm on the Fort Fritz. Just look up
Ted Bundy bow tie.
Ted Bundy bow tie.
Dramatic bow tie. I'm posting it right now,
and I'm right. Ted Bundy's bow tie was dramatic.
It's flamboyant.
It is,
it's
but the one that's
bigger than his head.
It's huge.
No. It's like a clown bow tie.
It's very dramatic. It's a pretty big bow tie.
Dan, look at that bow tie.
I would put it on the large scale. I don't think it's like it's not clownish.
It's not clownish, but
it's
not clownish,
but that's pretty big.
But
pretty
prominent. Was that like
70s, right?
In vogue for the time, yeah. 70s
sure,
had
I'm
all
not
kinds
judging.
of weird...
I'm not judging the bow
I can't
tie.
curse, can I?
When you meet someone with a bow tie in normal life, you always have to kind of go, really? A nice event or something like that, okay, but just in normal life when someone's wearing a bow tie, you
bow
always
ties are for staff and children, otherwise they're an old.
Eye doctor.
Damn.
I had an eye doctor that definitely wore a bow tie, and that was like
Doctors
on all the weird like online reviews about him was like always mentioning his bow tie.
What a weird! I want to draw attention to my neck.
Yeah.
What a weird thing.
Doctors and English professors can always wear bow ties.
Thank you,
Sure.
thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you.
You gotta have a tweed something on though.
Oh, for sure.
And those elbow patches.
Yeah.
And
All right, let's
and
get-
Bill Nye. And Bill Nye.
Bill Nye's loud.
Yeah.
Let's-
Actually, well, hold on. I have something to say about Bill Nye and his bow tie,
Oh,
Fritz.
Jesus.
Let the woman talk.
Someone was in the elevator with Bill Nye, and he had like 2 minutes before he had to go on, and they're like, and he didn't have his bow tie tied, and they're like, "Can you?" And he like literally did it in like 10 seconds and
One
just
hand.
walked out of the elevator, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
So it's not a clip-on. Confirmed.
No.
Bill Nye's bow tie.
Bill Nye is
Gangster.
Bill Nye
Bill
bow
Nye's
tie.
bow tie.
Is legit.
Anyway, so Zac Efron, the bow tie that they have him in, it's almost on clownish. It's like
It is pretty
it's
big.
kind of dramatic.
So that's the little side by side that I could pull up.
Yeah.
But the other frames that we were looking at Angela is absolutely correct. It's really just disproportionately large.
It's very large. It's a very big bow tie.
Maybe it's one of the ones that goes spins around.
It's bigger than a Pee Wee Herman.
I feel like Ted, like that is a very big bow tie.
Yeah, that's strangely big.
Looks like he's being attacked by Mothra.
So much.
You heard it here, folks.
So, I mean, I get it. It's like a dramatization of everything that happened, but come on.
It's
a bit much.
Extremely wicked and strangely large, shockingly large bow tie.
Extremely wicked, shockingly large bow tie.
And vile.
Haley Joel Osment's also in this movie.
No way! I was just talking about where did Haley Joel Osment go?
He's been in Silicon Valley for the last few seasons.
Oh,
that's where he's been.
Holy crap, that was him, wasn't he?
Does he look weird?
I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
the tech
totally
guy.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, it is. Great. I love that show so much.
Yeah,
oh
for sure.
My god,
I gotta
a
look
great
this
show,
up now.
Yeah.
Haley Joel Osment as an adult. That's scary.
He's weird looking. He's got like a little kid face still.
His face is like that
big.
the same
Yeah, his face
size,
is that
but
big,
his
but his
body
head is
grew
giant.
around it. It's very strange.
He's got a giant
Like the
head.
dude from Little Bits?
Giant, yeah.
Sorry, son. As you grow old, your face ain't never gonna change. You're gonna have a little tiny face and a big old man body.
Don't scare me, Gypsy!
He plays the boyfriend of Liz Kendall. So when Liz is like, who is Ted Bundy's girlfriend, who wrote the book, and she's the one who called in his name.
Again, Lily Collins portrays her, but in the movie she's Elizabeth Klopfer because I guess she's married since then.
Right. The book's still under Elizabeth Kendall. So
yeah, I would imagine
Liz,
of course.
Liz Kendall. And this whole thing really affects her big time. That they're watching because it's based on the book that she wrote. I mean, it really messed her up. She took like a whole week off from work. She's just like in a bathrobe watching all like the trial. And she kind of has that weird thing that some people do when they've been manipulated by someone like that. Like, I should have called it in. Why did I do all this stuff? Like, and Haley Joel Osment, who's kind of like the nice guy, comes over and befriends her, and maybe she married him. He was like, you did a good thing. So many more people could have died if you hadn't called this in, but she felt this enormous guilt from doing it. And it kind of made her sick. She was obsessed with it.
There was one great scene, too, where, like, as I mentioned on segment 1 just a couple minutes ago, she gets that knock on the door, and she's presented with something. It's almost like Pandora's box. Not to go back to the sexist Greek, myth story, but there is a very fascinating, I have to stop saying the word fascinating scene at the end. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't even want to give that away because
it's so good.
Please don't.
That's one of the best parts. But
it's so good.
It is really great.
Is that when he gets the soul stone?
Yes, actually it is. Well,
yes.
So many soul stones. Jim Parsons is also in this.
Really?
From Big Bang Theory. He plays the prosecutor Larry Simpson.
And also James Hetfield is in it. I know that too.
What?
James Hetfield is in this.
Oh God.
Yeah, you didn't. James Hetfield, the singer and lead
I
guitarist
did
for
not-
Metallica.
Wait a minute, is he John Malkovich?
Is he John Malkovich as the judge?
James Hetfield
Yeah.
as John Malkovich as the judge.
And Jim Parsons does a great job in this as a
He's
prosecutor
great.
because
he
that
does.
prosecutor was kind of a little out there as well. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
he
a
was.
lot of big personalities surrounding this trial. It was phenomenal. And also, Ted Bundy did marry someone while in prison, Carol Ann.
No, while giving, like, on behalf of himself,
yes.
acting as his own lawyer.
During the trial, she's on the stand as a witness, and he basically proposes to her, and then because they're in court, he basically just gets them married right then and there.
Absolutely
See how that
crazy.
works?
It's
Gangster.
crazy.
I don't
As the
even
judge,
know.
I throw it out.
With the bow
If I'm
tie.
Malkovich, I'm like, nah.
That's almost an automatic mistrial,
We're
too.
not doing this, dude. You're not taking over my court like that.
Angela, one more time, in case anyone out there listening on their drive home from work or to work, how can people watch this Ted Bundy documentary starring Zac Efron, John Malkovich, Lily Collins,
James Hetfield.
Jim Parsons.
James Hetfield, Jim Parsons, yeah.
It is on Netflix, and it is called, and you will never remember this, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
That's amazing. So coming up, Kaz, you're going to be jumping into the Sinking City playable trailer that just recently came out.
Correct.
The game is not out, though, right?
Correct.
It looks really cool, right?
Correct.
Mandaddy, you are going to be talking about Dead to Me. It's a series
on Netflix.
and not a movie.
Nope, not at all.
And Dan, what was the name of that Ted Bundy documentary?
Extremely vile and incredibly close.
Yep, you got it.
Nice.
Nailed
Tom
it.
Hanks.
That's the worst title I've ever heard in my life.
Bad branding. Bad branding.
You are listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1.
And that's good branding.
Alliteration, right? That's
Right there.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
genre bending.
That's a solid groove, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Bassist is just like
It is a solid
he's laying
group.
it down.
She did some great stuff with Peter Gabriel.
You're listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1. I'm your host, Fritz, joined as always by Mandaddy,
Howdy.
Angela.
Hello.
We got Kazzy.
Hey.
And we also have our very, very dear friend, Dan. Dan, thank you so much
Dan.
Here tonight.
for taking so much of your time on Earth and just throwing it into the garbage can.
I just enjoy being with you lovely people.
Oh, I love you
so
so much.
nice.
Dan, Dan is actually helping Angela with the Fringe Festival.
Yes.
I am as well, and we had a little
Tech gents.
yeah, we had a tech
that's
gent
my name
moment
for
today.
them. I call them
love
tech
it.
gents.
I love it.
Oh, do you?
It's
I
adorable.
wasn't sure. No one's commented, and I feel like I'm offending someone.
No, I just don't respond well on.
You don't. You
On
never
social
do.
media or
You
anything.
don't. It's fine.
I love it though. Man, Daddy, sometimes we find ourselves up against a wall.
Yes.
Do you play more video games or not enough?
It's never enough, really. Is
Really?
it? You
Right.
know, I mean,
It's hard.
sometimes you'll have that night or that day where you just have just enough. You're like, that was a good video game session. But nothing's worse than when it's getting too late and you just broke into a new level and you're like, I need to go to sleep, but oh, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the rub right there.
Yep,
That's the rub.
I've had many a night. You
Therein
just
lies it.
get in a raid with
You just
5
keep
other people,
going.
and
You just keep
I've
going.
done raids till 3 in the morning. It's just like, before you know it, there you are.
It's like I'm still awake. There's still beer, and this is still happening.
I don't currently play video games, but I used to do that with Sonic and Tails.
Sonic and Tails.
I really
Oh,
did.
nice.
My friends and I
Throwback.
used to just get like
Very specific.
stay up so late and try to like beat some levels.
Nice. Get your geek on.
Yeah.
Sonic and Tails. Yeah, how you would hold down and then you would charge C or one of the different right.
Get your spin
I
up.
don't remember,
So
but
good.
I always liked being
Basically
Tails.
burn it
Had
out.
a great
Yep.
noise. It was like, and
And now you got the whole Sonic movie coming out now. That's a big controversy.
Nightmare.
Yikes.
That's terrifying.
That is a nightmare. Kaz, you've been watching trailers for The Sinking City for a while now. I think on previous iHeartRadio app episodes, you've been talking about this game.
Yeah, we reviewed a initial cinematic kind of trailer. It was mostly CG and showed kind of the idea of it. And the like tagline, I guess, is a Cthulhu, Lovecraftian sort of horror-inspired third-person video game.
Spooky
which
already.
The only thing I feel like in modern times you need to have to be Lovecraftian is like cobblestone streets and then something with an octopus tentacle.
Yeah,
and
one
then
Yeah,
tentacle,
that's good.
cobblestone,
Yeah.
and some fog.
Lots of rain.
Fog.
Fog,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just be in London and then have like an octopus show up and then you're already like in a level.
Well, I mean, not necessarily London. It's more New England.
Oh, the
Well-
expert over
my.
here.
Excuse
Well,
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
me.
my.
Yes.
Pardon.
Pardon.
Yeah, everybody's got that like pseudo like mid-Atlantic
Is it
accent.
Providence, Rhode Island mostly?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Well, there's a Lovecraft
The Hamptons?
comic book out there. I think it's called Providence.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
unfamiliar.
It's just really neat. The
Counterpoint.
artwork's pretty neat.
nice.
That's interesting. They've not been able to make a successful Lovecraft video game.
Right.
It's because and thank you, Dan, because that gets to the core of what I was going to talk about, I guess, in that it's those stories are about a human trying to reach this kind of like ultimate knowledge or power, this like eldritch thing, and coming into contact with something that they're not ready to come into contact with, right? Like there's this realm of at
Madness.
least, yeah, exactly. And so, like you said, so far, I think the idea of a video game is you're the hero and you have to kind of like conquer and stuff. There hasn't been this kind of like very dry, blunt kind of Lovecraft story that's come out yet. So this looks like it might be. It's very dark. There's a lot of like murdery stuff going on. But and you're playing Batman now, right, Mandaddy? So
yes.
like it has that element of those like you go into detective mode or whatever, right?
Okay.
So I think listening to the commentary on this,
we put the detective experience
there you
first.
Yeah, this is
means
like a commentary
zero
video.
hand-holding from the game. There are no straightforward tasks.
So, and it looks to be open world, right? So they've got this kind of like big cityscape where you can kind of move around and go investigate different
what to look for.
things that are going on. So you get tasked with something initially that kind of clues you in on this larger story.
Yeah.
And
sets you down a darker and darker road.
Exactly.
It looks beautiful.
It looks
It looks really
and they add that
beautiful.
kind of monster-y kind of vibe to it where he's just interacting with this man who is clearly either a monster or like has radiation sickness.
It also gives me that kind of like Fallout 4 vibe with the...
Right, so the dialogue options, it did seem very, the way he was kind of...
Yeah, so it's all like dialogue tree-based, so I'm sure there's like a billion different endings or whatever.
Yeah, which is not bad.
They haven't talked about, at least from what I've seen, how they're going to structure it, if it's going to be one of those like multiple endings or sort of open-ended or what, but it does look to be open world in this big area, kind of investigatory game with Lovecraftian elements to it. And the art style looks very cool. It looks like very, very Gen 4.
How racist are you in it?
Oh, I mean, you look at that guy, you can tell.
That's so hated when you hear
it's up
something.
to you. It's a role-playing game.
That's true. Yeah. The choice is yours.
Fair point.
I mean, I loved H.P. Lovecraft forever, and then when you start finding about the racist side, you're just like,
yeah.
He was so racist.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty gross.
That's pretty bad.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Are there cats in it?
Ooh,
there's got to be, most definitely. Right?
Something like that.
There's got to be.
There's got to be some cats.
He loved cats.
Yeah.
So
Lovecraft loved cats.
This is the Sinking City detective gameplay trailer. Just go to realradio.fm and click shows and blogs, and you will see it. It looks really beautiful.
Yeah, it's
definitely
pretty.
Check it out.
Definitely play this.
It looks
but
fun.
If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to play this because I'm assuming it probably comes out right around the same time as Borderlands 3.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And as a devout Borderlands fan, I will be all consumed for several weeks.
The entire day.
Well,
the entire
E3's coming up though, right? So a lot of stuff's going to be.
Which one is?
Oh yeah,
E3.
I will.
That's usually in June.
I'm definitely going to watch that gameplay trailer though. I want to see more about it.
So Kaz, everyone should be looking up the Sinking City, right, and seeing if their console.
We'll probably, as more details get released, I imagine that we'll talk about it more.
Mandaddy, Dead to Me, that's a series on Netflix.
On Netflix.
And looks pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes. Tell me about it.
Oh, really? What type of ratings is it getting right now?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, 88%.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
good. Yeah, that's not bad.
And this is an American web television series.
Yes, it's a Netflix series. It stars Christina Applegate, who is just a national treasure. Just a national treasure.
I love her.
James Marsden and
Bundy.
another
Will
female
Bundy.
lead who's Dave.
Will Bundy.
Yes.
Will Bundy.
And the Sonic
Kelly
movie.
Rocks.
And he's in the Sonic movie.
The Sonic movie. It just keeps on coming. It's a thread each bit.
So I'm assuming it's about dead people.
Well, Christina Applegate plays a character who tragically lost her husband.
Oh, okay.
Her husband is dead, and she starts going to a support group for people who are grieving. And there she meets the other main female lead, and they strike up a friendship. I would say avoid the trailer. I think the trailer gives away a little too much. It gets out of the spoilers of the trailer within the first two episodes.
All right, well,
I'm only
check out
halfway
the
through.
trailer.
Oh, but it's really good because it's doing what I like that a lot of shows are doing now with dealing with dark, serious topics seriously, and then also having just straight out humor and to the point of like goofy humor. The humor is so funny. I mean, there's just like I said, they'll throw in goofy things you don't expect. Like they're just at a restaurant. It's like, excuse me, is the calamari made out of pig buttholes? Just for no reason, you get that in a scene. And so I'm really enjoying it. I'm only midway through it, but I'm really looking forward to see where it goes. I think I'm not sure if it's already gotten picked up for another season or not. And sometimes you maybe want it to end after the first season. I don't know yet. But here's another thing I want to bring up is that what they're doing now, and I love it, half-hour episodes, 10-episode season.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
I loved all the Marvel shows, but 13 episodes, an hour long,
No.
those stories didn't need it for the most part.
No.
Yeah.
You should never be watching a series and click on how many episodes left and go, oh, really? And that's the worst. You're like, oh, there's still 4 more to go? Where are we going to go with this? This...
They've got a little heavy.
Right.
Yeah.
Russian Doll. Bam, bam, bam. Enjoyed it.
I watched it in a day, and I had a whole work day that day. Like, I watched it in the morning, a little bit at night.
Yeah.
So overall, you loved it?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, Russian Doll's great. Russian Doll's great.
I loved it so
and so this
Have you seen it, Dan?
Nope.
It's good.
All right.
It's a good one.
Nope. Gotta use my microphone voice.
That's Dan, by the way. Thank you, Dan, so much.
Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
But so I'm really digging it. I think Netflix is doing they're doing some great work and some horrible work, as we talked about with The Silence a few weeks ago. And so if you're into goofy comedy, the new series, I Think You Should Leave, which is produced by The Lonely Island. Each episode is like 17 minutes long, and it's just straight, stupid funny, into your face constantly. So that's a good laugh. Great laugh. Watch I Think You Should Leave if you're into goofy humor. But a really good new series that combines dark themes with some really nice humor and some good performances. Dead to You on Netflix with Christina Applegate.
Well, Mandaddy, I think it's about that time. Let's check out of Fort Fritz.
All right, it is time now for the checkout. Starting off, Fritz, what would you like us to check out?
Well, my good old buddy Dan over here, who, thank you so much for... Can we get a little round of applause for Dan?
Dan's so awesome.
Dan, thank you for
this
coming over.
This episode is named Dan.
Dan is easily one of my best friends, and I met him because he moved in next door to me.
It's a beautiful story.
Now we're in like 15 bands.
Yep.
And we still hang out, and we make each other laugh, and we work on music. So I encourage you, reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while this weekend and just say, hey, you want to go bowling? I'll kick your ass right now. If you beat me in bowling, then
we got to start a band.
That's how all really good bands start.
Then we have to start a
And
band.
Angelo, what do you have for us to check out?
My show at Fringe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Does that make sense? At the Black Venue on Virginia, the 19th, 23rd, and 25th. And I would like to say big thanks again to Fritz and Dan for helping me out make this show look awesome. Visuals. You guys are great.
My first Fringe.
Yeah, likewise.
Oh, that is so adorable.
Fringe Virginia.
Igualmente.
Kaz, what you got?
So first of all, did you ever see Pitch Black?
Pitch Black,
yes.
Yeah.
Pitch Black, fantastic.
With Vin Diesel.
So
Points.
good.
That's the point.
Such a good Vin Diesel movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even as
Never
Vin Diesel
saw it.
movies goes. It's so good.
For the original Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
it is.
graphics were sick for the first
Sitting
Xbox.
at an 89 Metacritic to this day, 8.5
Oh my God,
on IGN.
really?
In Chronicles of
That's a
Riddick,
good part.
Escape from Butcher Bay, you have to play as Riddick and escape from space prison, and you actually have to escape from the prison. There's not like this, there's an initial kind of storyline, but then you have to like figure out how to get out of space prison in a video game, and it was the coolest thing of all time. And
What's it called?
check it out. Chronicles of Riddick, The Escape from Butcher's Bay.
So what do you got for us to check out there, Dan?
Check out this band Hellfire. Hell Space Fire.
Playing them right now.
They're a small band from from Northern California, like Oakland and San Fran
Where the
area.
girls are warm.
New School Thrash. They're really awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw them at a festival in California. It was on 420.
Nice.
Determine from that what you will.
Hey, you remembered it, so they must be good.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
they were one of the openers, so like they were one of the smaller bands, like they were one of the first ones to play, and they just blew me away. Hell Space Fire is how you find them on music apps.
What I'd like you to check out is, of course, my band Gargamel will be playing at Will's Pub with
Wait,
the
no,
group.
it's not pronounced Gargamel. It's pronounced
Gargamel! Yes, it is an exclamation point. It is an
Nice.
exclamation point. So please check out my band, Gargamel! We'll be playing at Will's Pub with the Groovenicks.
Yeah.
So that's on the 24th with the Groovenicks and them at Will's Pub. Please check that out. I do trivia on first and third Mondays at Orlando Brewing at 7 o'clock. I do trivia on Thursdays at Cheers Altamont and at 7 o'clock. And I do trivia on Tuesdays from 5 to 7 at Lucky's in Vineland.
Mandaddy, kick everybody out of this place.
All right, hey, everybody. Hey, wake up.
Hey.
Hey, wake up.
You be more
Get out.
creative. There you go.
Get
Yeah,
out.
there you
Out of
go.
the place. Out of the fort.
Gotta
Out of the
scare
house.
them.
Out of the fort. If you're in your car, find a safe place to pull over, turn off the car, start it back up, and then you can be on your way, because it's time for you to get out. This is Fort Fritz. Thanks for listening. This is Fort Fritz.
Until next time, pleasant dreams.